Welcome to Founders Club, the show for real estate entrepreneurs. Today we're going to be talking to Billy Jean about all his video marketing strategies. Right now he's spending over $1 million per month on YouTube ads, and he's just absolutely killing it. We're going to be talking about how to create video ads that sell, embracing your inner douchebag, and how being boring will put you out of business. Let's get started. I just want to jump right in with you, and I'm very appreciative that you made the time to do this. Definitely appreciate it. One thing I was doing in preparation for this is I watched your interview with Ed Milet, which I thought was awesome.
Thank you.
And one of the things that he asked you was, what's your superpower? And you said, creating videos that sell shit.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of pick up the ball
just summarizes
there.
it nicely.
Yeah, very, very simple. And I agree. I think you've been just slaying it with that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. I think for everyone listening, the reason why, well, one, it's what I love to do, but I think it's not just, it's my superpower because I've been practicing at it for the last 10 years, but it's a superpower that I wish everyone had, because to me, it's the fastest way to grow and scale a business. So if you take a look at like companies that have blown up or products that have blown up, think about what really did it. Let's go all the way back to the George Foreman grill. It's a commercial, right? What's a commercial? It's a video. And the cool thing about video is now with Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, it can go to 7 billion people on the planet, or whoever has a cell phone internet, maybe 2 billion, 3 billion, whatever, with the click of a button. You and I right now can take this clip, go into Facebook, click 4 buttons and say, target the world, anybody in this age demographic who happens to like business, and we can show them a video message in 2 hours. And be all the way around the world. Like, let that sink in. Mm-hmm. That's huge. So now if that video that we recorded had an offer that said, hey, everybody give us $10, and everybody gives you $10, guess what happens? You're a multi-billionaire. And so I'm obsessed with that equation, is that Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, their real job is just to put a message in front of anybody that you want. So if I can make the message something of, hey, buy my stuff in exchange for me helping you, I'm fucking golden. If you look at the more recent companies that blow up with video, Dollar Shave Club, like, what was that? It was a video advertisement. Like, it's a video. It's always a form of marketing that adds gasoline to the business.
Another thing that you mentioned in that interview, and we're going to touch on all the ad stuff in a minute, so I'm going to put it in a box and put it over here.
Yeah.
It was documenting your journey. And you talked a lot about the importance of doing that in business today, and I wanted to just get your opinion on like what you think that looks like for someone in the real estate business.
You know, I'll go to the real estate part in a second, but the idea of documenting. So have you ever been in movie theaters and in the beginning it says based on a true story, and then at the end, once the movie's done, everybody's reaction now is to go to Google and see, what did the real character look like? Mm-hmm. What actually happened? What was true or what's false? Now, think about this. What if in your life, people don't have to ask those questions, they just fucking go to your timeline on Facebook and they can actually see it in real time? How much more trust does that build? And I say trust because the only reason why people aren't buying from people is because they don't trust you. Think about it. If they believed everything that they were saying, they would buy. If they really believed working with you as a real estate agent was going to be that fast and that easy and really get them top dollar and all those other things that you say, then they would do it, wouldn't they? They don't believe you. And so that's why I think trust is so important in that transparency. So now I'm seeing the benefits of it because we've been documenting for the last 7 years. So now people look at my shit and they're like, dude, like I've had people buy and be like, yeah, I've actually been following you for 5 years now. And they said, at first I thought it was bullshit. And then they're like, 5 years later, I've seen the progression. Mm-hmm. So now people hate sales because they don't like to be pushy. How pushy do I have to be? I'm like, they're like, does it work? I'm like, look at my shit for the last 5 years. You said it, not me. Right. So, yeah.
So you've been able to document the things that you've done, turn that into content, and that's been the vehicle for part of your growth, obviously.
Anyone in a service-based business, when they're buying you, right? Like any real estate professional will tell you in any part of the industry, hey, people buy because they know, like, and trust you. Yep. But everybody sells their service. Nobody's selling themselves. And that's the biggest thing to do. And the reason why is because when they try and sell themselves, it sounds like this. Hi, my name's Bill Shaw, and I've been doing real estate for 20 years in the southern San Diego area. You can trust me and my team. Like, is that not the pitch?
Said everyotherrealtor.com.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the difference between the documenting is, you know, here's Steven. He just bought a home from me. Put your thumbs up, Steven. The barrier to entry is so low for everybody to play. User trust has been down like crazy. The one thing that's hard to fake though is if you film the first time meeting the client, you film the showing the houses that they didn't like, that they didn't. You film the frustrating and the calls that didn't go so well, all the struggles. That's hard to fucking fake a whole entire experience, and that's the difference between telling and demonstrating. And so, a lot of people are hesitant to this because if they accept what I'm saying is truth and realize they need to do it, that means there's work ahead. Oh damn, now I got to learn how to do video. Oh damn, now I got to hire a videographer. Oh damn, that's budget. So people will logically understand their nod the head they listen to like this. Yeah, he's right. Okay, he's onto something. But then there's other part of them that tries to sell them on why they don't need to do that to avoid the work. And that's the thing that keeps them prisoner.
Such a good thought. And that's actually something that we've talked about before as well is documenting the experience of sales, or like if you're an investor of your flip, like imagine if you did buying it at the courthouse video and then what you did with your contractor once you got there and all of the different steps throughout the process from A to Z. Now you've got a 5-minute video at the end that took a lot of work to make and a lot of time to make and a lot of energy to make, but you've got the ultimate social proof. And to your point, that's something that can't be faked.
And here's the catch. This is where advertising is beautiful. So say it does take you forever to get that one video, but people love it and they want to work with you as a result. What's cool now with $5 a day on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, you can run that video advertisement to the zip code you want to work in and use that content for years to sell. And that's why everybody listening in real estate, I honestly implore all of you to start thinking about your content the same way that you do your real estate. You think of your real estate as an investment. People are like, oh, this doesn't cost me any money. I'm actually investing. I know it's going to pay my children, and I'm going to leave a nice little asset. And, you have all of this rhetoric about you justifying the fact that you just dropped $250,000 on a down payment or whatever it is, and you have all of this. Well, I'll break it to you in a different way. I can take out my cell phone right now using nothing and put us both in a video, and I can make an offer, and this will take me nothing, no cost, anything, and I can sell shit, and it can bring me returns same day. You're going to see that shit in real estate. You're not going to get them same day. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg. You have to put money down. You have to sign these crazy contracts. I can literally take a video right now, upload it, and if the video sells something, it could pay me again and again and again and again and again and again for years to come. How is that any different than what real estate does? Right? Yeah. My flip is just different. I flip content, information, the number one resource in the world versus a building that to me is a lot slower moving. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do real estate. I'm just saying diversify your portfolio. Right back at you, motherfucker.
I really like that, and I think that's super important. Is the producing very high quality, good content. Do you think that that's necessary now to have a videographer be part of your team?
I think it's going to be a standard in every company ever. I think it will. The same way that I remember when websites became a thing, and I was one of them, and I was like, you don't actually need a website. You don't need a website. And so many people were like, what the fuck do I need a website? Now everybody has a website. Now if you don't have a website, what does somebody call you?
You're old school.
They call you a creeper.
Yeah.
They call you a weirdo. They say you're strange. They sound like
How
this.
can you not have a website?
You're going to do business with them? That motherfucker doesn't even have a website, dog.
Yeah.
So standard. So now you come to this next phase where it's like, which restaurant should I eat at? Well, go look at the videos. They don't have any videos? What the fuck? What are they hiding? What are they not showing? Yep. Work with the real estate agent. Wait a second. Like, well, what's their team like? I don't know. They don't have anything. And then it's like, well, these people have pictures. Okay, pictures are cool. But pictures are just too easy to fake. So trust goes down. It's hard to fake somebody's personality on video. It really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is. It's harder. So it's just a layer of trust that people associate with it.
I love that. So, and that's something that we agree with. I mean, we brought our content team on a few years ago, and it's paid dividends a lot. I think what scares a lot of people is the cost, and you brought it up already, the budgeting for that. So I just want to talk about tips for hiring this person and what sort of expense are they looking at?
Well, understand this is the first and foremost lesson with that is that if you can't afford a videographer, it's not a money issue. It's a creativity issue. This is huge. And this is most problems in business because we always try and solve our problems with money, right? If only I could hire a videographer. What do you mean you can't hire a videographer? Yeah, but I can't afford it. Is money the only form of currency? Absolutely not. Yeah. People do things for, time, laughter, enjoyment, to learn, etc. You're a real estate agent and some video experience. You know, there's how many videographers are in college right now that are looking for projects to do so they can add stuff to their resume.
Right.
See, that's a lack of creativity. And that's the difference between entrepreneurs who make it and ones that don't, is the ones who make it. You know, I have a 3-year-old daughter. And one thing that's not allowed in my house, because she's starting to talk more now, is she's not allowed to say the word can't. So she says the word can't. What do you say? And she goes, how can I?
Oh, I love that.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it with entrepreneurs. Knock that shit off. You keep, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
How can I afford a videographer? Oh, shit, now I got to come up with solutions?
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
And I think a really simple tip, too, would be to co-op it with other agents.
Yeah.
Imagine if you
great
went
tip.
in on four people and you guys all split a videographer, or 5 people. Everyone gets them 1 day a week, and you guys can share the cost, and that would make it a lot more.
I love it, dude. And also too, like real estate, you know, money comes in relatively large doses when it comes. Hey, film now, get paid later. You really believe in your work, and this is going to help us out. Pay you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people will do it. So, you know, I always say the reason why this is not so common sense is because they forgot to give us a sales course in college, where all of this would have been second nature.
Right.
But we don't sign up for fucking sales. We sign up for Astrology 101.
Because no one wants to be a salesperson.
No one wants to be a salesperson because they demonize it.
Yeah.
Sales is demonized. Like, that person's just trying to sell you. Like, it's a bad thing. It's the only thing that actually makes our fucking country work. The world work.
Totally agree. And as an entrepreneur, I think that's like a core skill. I think if you don't understand that, you're really missing a big part of the equation. And I know you started like on a call center, right? And I started selling phones out of a mall kiosk.
Yeah, you know the game.
And it was a grind, and it was a numbers game. But the lessons that I learned, and I'm sure you learned through that experience of just getting rejected, learning to sell, learning to overcome objections, future pacing, all the different things, is just invaluable.
And the fearlessness that comes with it.
Yeah.
And the ability to eat that shit, like of hitting no and being like, all right, another day. And once you learn to get over that, it's really hard to be stopped. Mm-hmm. You already heard it before. You know what's coming. Yeah. You get over it.
Yeah. And in real estate, the objections don't really change, which is nice. You're going to hear the same 12 objections through every seller. I'm not ready now, or...
Listen, and you're nailing it. And again, if you don't have objection cards, what are you doing? Meaning when somebody, like you hear the same things every single time. And you always go, yeah, but they hit me with this. Question, how many times have you written down that objection and then asked family, friends, experts, especially experts in the industry, what's a good, way to overcome this objection? Turn them into flashcards and practice them.
Yep.
You're honestly probably not getting more than 4 objections. But if you're somehow special and you just get every objection under the sun, then make 10. And remember those flashcards, just like we did when we were in 3rd grade. And we wanted to remember, all that relevant stuff about the capitals of the state. Each state, we had fucking flashcards, right? Why don't we have flashcards for the shit that matters?
And then they'd give you a state, and you would just spit out the answer because you remembered it. The same way when you hear those objections, you're just gonna be able to spit it out right when you hear it.
Exactly.
And then it becomes really natural.
The difference is one was completely useless, and the other is extremely relevant and helpful, and pays your bills and stuff like that.
Yeah, and a whole lot more than that, hopefully. I actually totally forgot to mention that I'm going to be cracking an Offshore Beer Co. Hazy IPA, and I brought Billy something as well, but this was before I found out that you're not drinking at the moment.
Oh, shit. I still love gifts.
You love Jack.
I do.
So I got you a special
fuck yeah.
Select
Let me tell you,
Jack.
January 1st, 2020. I'll be cracking this.
That'll be the
motherfucker
New Year's
open.
bottle.
That'll be the New Year's bottle, assuming I decide to drink. Yeah, dude, that's nice for you.
Yeah,
and
no
look,
problem, man.
the box is all fancy and shit.
Yeah, it's super fancy.
Here, I'll cheers with you.
Thank you. Cheers. Enjoy that when you're ready. Oh yeah,
There we
and
go.
I
We
brought
got
you,
some stuff.
since you weren't drinking, I got you a Red Bull and a water.
Yeah. Hey.
And Taylor actually said, you know what? He likes cookies. So we brought.
No, man, I just hired a trainer. I'm not doing this shit either. Come on, man.
So we'll just put it right here and
off camera.
If you change your mind, you can holler at it.
I appreciate that, dude. Thank you very much.
Anyway, back to it. One of your quotes that I thought was amazing at Content and Convergence, or Traffic and Conversion Summit, was that your content needs to be better than butt cheeks.
It's very powerful, very prophetic.
Yeah, it actually was powerful in the sense that it's so simple and it makes so much sense and it makes you laugh at the same time. But
let me break down the math for everybody.
Break it down.
So the content has to be better than butt cheeks. It's a real thing. And it's because, if you ask like 9 out, and I'm making up this stat from my ass, but if you ask like 9 out of 10 business owners or people who are starting a business or growing their business, whatever, you say, well, what's your plans to get customer? If you ask 10 entrepreneurs, what percentage of them are going to say social media? All of them?
All of them.
They're going to be, yeah, I mean, social media is going to be a part of it, of course. Yeah. Well, the thing you got to understand is, why do people go on social media? Well, they go on because they're bored.
And they want to be social.
That's it. And they want to be social.
Yeah.
They don't go on to fucking learn. They don't go on to fucking shop. They go on because they're fucking bored. They want to check up on people. And so when they're scrolling, what's typically in their news feed is entertaining shit. Sometimes some sexual shit, like following girls on Instagram, oftentimes who are showing their butt cheeks. And also there's politics, and then also there's family vacations, and then also there's motivational quotes and memes and fancy cars and lifestyle things and all these things. That's what people go on social to consume. So when you put your boring ass, stale ass offer in there, it's not going to do well. So you have to remember that you're competing against all of those things because there's only so much room on your cell phone to consume. There's only so much space. So for your thing to be shown and to actually grab attention, it needs to be more entertaining, engaging, etc. than butt cheeks, politics, memes, dogs, puppies, and everything else that comes with that.
And then oftentimes, you also need to think about when people are scrolling through their social media, oftentimes they just have a few minutes.
Yeah.
It might be 2 minutes here, I'm on the bathroom there, I'm at the bus stop here.
That's a great point.
And so you got to be able to have that high impact message to be able to grab that attention.
Or go out of business. Now people say like, well, that's strong. There's plenty of businesses that have been built up without social media. Yes. Past tense, motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Past tense.
Yeah, in the 1800s that were great.
And guess who? You know what all those companies doing right now? They call me. I talk to all those people. All those people you're talking about, those companies, they're all saying, well, what do we got to do to,
What do we do now?
Exactly. Now, they do have an advantage because the truth is social media hasn't changed business. It just changed the method of the way we communicate. The fundamentals are the fundamentals. Sales are still sales. Marketing is still marketing. Instead of putting it on a billboard, instead of putting it in a magazine, we're just putting it on a Facebook ad, right? So the fundamentals are still the fundamentals, but you got to learn the new shit.
So better than butt cheeks, make it interesting, grab the attention. Another question I had for you.
Or put butt cheeks in it.
Or put butt cheeks in it, yeah. Which I'm sure you've probably done or will do.
Well, I was going to say we have it, like, especially now I'm a dad, 3-year-old, probably won't be any butt cheeks in my videos, but test it if you got the brand for
it. Why not? This is a question that we get a lot. Why YouTube? Isn't it too late?
Yes, it's not. That's why. I mean, it's I think YouTube is like right now how Facebook was in 2012 when I first started really going crazy on it. And that's from the agency standpoint. I remember, like now I say advertise on Facebook and everyone's like, of course we advertise on Facebook. Yeah, I'm doing the Facebook thing. I remember the objection that I got when I was selling Facebook was, does Facebook really work?
Is my customer on Facebook? And
you hear it now, but I'm talking, it was adamant, like, we don't even do that. They didn't even have newsfeed ads, by the way. It was just like straight
the
right
little
column.
Square in the corner.
So then they really got the question. They're like, oh, I didn't even know there was a right column ad. They really didn't know. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I feel at YouTube right now is, again, I'm like, cool, everybody come here. Big part of making money is trends, right? You follow the trends. Real estate, you guys know about this. And timing, isn't timing a big part of the game?
Yeah, critical.
Same thing here. So the Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, they're auction sites. They're bidding wars. So the reason why it's more expensive because there's more people that want to show a message to those people. Yeah. So you're out bidding each other. So I love when, okay, y'all over here, y'all keep bidding against each other. Y'all keep fighting. Yeah. And while you do that, I'm going to sneak over to YouTube while everybody thinks it doesn't work. And it's all these things. And I'm just like, cool. I'm going to just play here in my own lane. Yeah. And then by the time you guys catch up, I'm going to be on to the next thing, the wazooka jukabu, whatever the next thing is, right. Right. So you're staying ahead of the game.
And I guess that's a really good point, a really good way to look at it because it is crowded on YouTube, but what I think most people are missing is the advertising. Mm-hmm. They're advertising on Facebook and Instagram because they've made it so easy now that the barrier entries are really low. Yeah. But what that's done is it's driven the cost up crazy to where in many cases it doesn't even make sense to run ads on Facebook anymore. And YouTube's like wide open. Like I don't know a whole lot of people running ads on YouTube yet because it's harder. You have to actually produce videos, and then just a lack of understanding, and I think a lack of people making noise about it.
Fear, like it's once that video thing's there, people start associating it with so many different pains. And a big tip for if anyone's watching where you're like, okay, get the video thing, but it scares the hell out of you, the big thing for you is, what's scary and what tends to get people most emotional about video is if I were to, take a piece of paper and a script and I have to sit here and I have to try to remember lines. Now you're a thespian and you're going to be in a play and act. That's a stressful thing. You're a journalist, like you're a newscaster. Those are hard, the skills, practice, all that. But if I just catch you, if there's watch this, we have cameras here right now, but you and I are just having a conversation. It's way easier to show up like this.
Yeah.
I'm not remembering any lines. I'm just having a conversation. There happens to be a camera. You'll be aware of these for a couple of minutes, and then it happens as we get in a conversation, you forget about them. And that's how you catch those moments. That's how reality TV catches those moments. So you got to ask yourself, how can I just get a camera there to capture my expertise, my customer service? Because again, that's what makes people buy is when they can see that.
Yeah.
And watch this. Sometimes those things are hard to like on demand do, which is why you want to have cameras running all the time. Because this shit that happens in your day all the time where you're like, fuck, I wish that was on video.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it can be.
Yeah. Or like the cool thing about real estate, and you talk about this a lot, is like having good props and that everything's a set. And I think real estate is almost like the ultimate set because especially if you're taking high-end listings, I mean, those are beautiful properties. Oftentimes they're staged.
People love real estate, and everyone's got a story about how. I remember me and my dad. We used to go into and look at all the bougie houses.
Yeah.
We just go in there. Like, anybody done that before? Like guilty in the camera. You guys just walk into a house and that's what you do. People are naturally curious, Or just imagine when you go over to someone's house and you're just in the living room. Everyone's low key wondering, like, well, can I see the rest of it? Was it like you just? It's there. And what's happened now is with the popularity of the TV shows. What do they call them? Like the Property Brothers or Flip or Flop or da-da-da. People are being trained by hundreds of millions of dollars of advertising that this is interesting, this is cool. And so you have to piggyback off of that. Like you don't have to have a high budget to create the same type of feel.
And the other reality is that almost all of those shows follow the exact same format. They're all like
before and after testimonial.
Yeah, literally. If you just copied that format with some of your own clients, it would probably crush. Because to your point, those have been tested out. They're, I think, the most run TV shows on TV, on cable TV at the moment. They're just playing nonstop.
And here's the advantage for you guys that they don't have. Is their, national audience, global audience, whatever it is, and they're kind of speaking to everybody. One thing that people love is shit in their backyard, in their neighborhood. So you have the local vibe. You can create the premier TV show for that particular zip code that you want to dominate. And you know who's not doing that? Your fucking competition.
Nobody.
No one. And your competition definitely isn't. Yeah. So just imagine that head start you can get. And I would challenge you to look at the successful people in your branch or wherever and see the ones that are really doing the thing. I would bet that majority of them have had a big advertising push, whether that be print or paying for some sort of distribution. So I'm telling you, it's a thing.
That is, I never even looked at it like that. Like you could actually dominate a neighborhood or a condo complex or by just being the HGTV agent of that whatever zip code, neighborhood, farm.
And people don't realize how cheap it is. You guys, to show a video ad that we're talking about on YouTube will, no exaggeration, cost you 1 penny to like 13 cents per view. And here's the thing, on YouTube, they don't count a view until they watch for at least 30 seconds. So,
which is brilliant for you as an advertiser.
I mean, God, you get to just run around. So it's super cheap, and also too, it's targeted. If you and I take out a billboard, I've had billboards. I paid $36,000 to have 4 billboards for like 3 weeks or some stupid shit. But and they're not targeted. It's just whoever drives by, they see it. But this, you can choose. Do you want to specialize in just talking to, new first-time home buyers? You can go age. You can target by household income. See, retirement people, like whatever your niche is, you can select it. Or some of you are in relationships and there's a lot of jealousy. If you're only allowed to advertise to one sex, you can just type in gender or female or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
So, and it's that cheap.
And I think the advertising is one of those things. Like we were lucky enough to do a power day with you. And when we were walking away, one of the big critical shifts in the way we were looking at the stuff we were producing was creating it more.
I'm in an interview. Can't just. I was just saying hi. You can't just. Holy cow!
Hey,
I'm interviewing live. You're ruining the whole
say
thing. It's a lawyer that works next door.
Nice. What the hell were we
Sorry,
talking
I
about?
fucked up the whole thing. Keep that in there for sure. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So critical shift in thinking was creating, not necessarily creating content, but creating them as ads, like ads, designed to be ads. And I think that that's what a lot of people are missing. Even the people that are producing content at a high level
Yeah.
are producing just content that kind of sits there as opposed to content that can be run as advertisements.
Right.
And that was like a big shift for us. And then we started thinking about how to do that. And then one of the things you also talk about is the
Let me, if you mind.
Yeah,
chime
jump in on that.
So, and that's a great point because it's creating content, but the missing piece is asking for the thing you want.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to be the person who's just asking and bullying people into buying, but I want to challenge you to rethink that. Great perspective is people don't get mad at you for advertising. People get mad at you for having shitty ads. And I'll prove that in the Super Bowl. When Super Bowl comes up, you have the most viewed thing, like basically one of the most viewed things in the world, outside of like the World Cup or something like that. Now, when people are watching, not everybody's into football, but what does everybody look forward to?
The commercials.
The commercials. Wait, hold on a second. Aren't commercials advertisements?
Right.
I thought people hated those. I thought they didn't want to do it. Oh no, they just know that Super Bowl commercials are so expensive that the companies have to do a really good job, so they're entertaining as shit. Yeah. So now people are looking forward to the ads. So that's something that I've tried to do with my brand. I said, well, why does it have to be for Super Bowl? I want, when people see Billie Jean is marketing there and see a sponsored story, I want them to be like, oh shit, what's this guy doing now?
Yeah. That's a really good point because like even I catch myself doing that with your guys' stuff. I'm like, oh shit, I see the Mario Kart ad and then I'm like, what is this fool doing? He's all dressed like Mario. And it's like you just have to click on it. You know it's an ad.
Yeah.
You know you're going to try to sell something.
But you don't care and no one cares. No one cares that you're advertising to them. They just care if you're boring. They get offended if you're boring. That's the game. The boring is what gets them. And boring, by the way, everyone is interesting. Everyone just has their own like way of being interesting. So don't think you're just boring. And the best way to kind of do that is I tell everybody, go to an improv class. Google improv in my city. Improv is where you take like, a small group of people, maybe like 3 to 10 people, and you improv, meaning you role play certain scenes. So I'd say like, you be a giraffe and I be an elephant and we both just walk into a bar. Go. And then we just like whatever you act out the scene. You just go.
Yeah.
That's what improv is, and it's very uncomfortable at first, but once you do it, you bring stuff out you really didn't know you had in you, And
I think a lot you start to realize that people don't really care if you look stupid.
they like you more.
Yeah. Because
they know you're like them. People like to buy from like people when they're like, oh, that's kind of me, and people like polished. Well, fuck you. Our best performing ads, I tell people all the time, are usually the ones on a cell phone. Not the ones with the fancy cameras. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
True.
So, note for everybody, you don't need the high fancy shit. Don't look at our ads like we have to do that. You probably lose money. It doesn't.
Yeah, I remember you saying that a lot of your higher produced stuff didn't do as good as your other stuff.
Yeah.
When running the ads.
Most of the time, almost every time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the realness is what people like.
People love it because then they feel like they're not being advertised to. Mm-hmm. They like to see the off the cusp. They like for when you stutter. They like when you're yourself. Even when people don't agree with you, like people hear me and they go, "This guy curses a lot. I don't like him." But there's always a respect of like at least he's himself. Yeah. And also too, my most loyal like followers and fans and students are always the number one thing they say is like, "Billy, when I meet you off camera or on camera, it's the same shit." Yeah. And to me, that's the biggest compliment I can take because it means good job with just being transparent. And I think that's what's really helped in the growth of our company.
And I think that like the realness, to your point of like it might turn some people off, but like I think that's a good thing. I think that if you can be somewhat polarizing, right? Like if you're being a dick and you're turning everybody off, that's not the point I'm trying to make. But if you can be yourself and that turns people off, those are people you probably didn't want to work with anyways. Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, you're attracting the people that are like you because they want to relate. They're like, oh, this guy's real. I can connect.
Everybody
with this guy.
With a major following, they almost all of the time stand for something that wasn't popular, and that's why people like them because they were the voice. And like here's what it is to kind of summarize that is when you can be the voice that makes someone go like this. Finally, somebody said it. Damn, I've been saying that for, thank you for, that's when you won. If someone's not like, damn, finally, you're not gonna grow the fan base. So when I come up with videos, I love it when people are like, fucking thank you for saying it, because I'm like, you're my people.
Yep.
You get it. We're on the same page. And that's it.
And the other people are going to go away, and that's fine.
No, they still watch, and they just troll. Then they watch to troll.
Yeah.
And they give you engagement, and it's cool too.
Like the Howard Stern effect. They're like, the people that hate him listen because they want to hear what he's saying next, and the people that love him listen because they want to hear what he's going to say next.
They still watch.
Yeah. So boring will put you out of business. What would you say to people that kind of think that their business is boring or isn't sexy?
I would have thought before the TV shows that real estate's boring as fuck. Like, it's everyone thinks their shit's boring, and then somebody else does it, and then it's like, oh, I guess that wasn't boring anymore. Like, dude, there's a Discovery Channel. Like, I'm sorry. Like, now everyone's like, oh, Shark Week. That's so cool. That's great marketing. Because nobody was caring about Shark. Like, everything wasn't cool before someone did it. And what you understand is that people love to see one thing, and that's transformation. And it doesn't matter if it's a fucking house, shoes, physical, hair designs, building something that wasn't there. People love to watch transformation, and people love suspense and curiosity. So, you know, when you watch those like animal shows, you're like, wow, are they going to survive? Are they going to die? That's exciting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's exciting. Like, what's going to happen?
And that kind of reminded me of another point, and I don't know if you remember this ad campaign. It was a few years ago, but it was a blender company, like I forget the name of it, Blendtec or whatever we'll call it, which, how unsexy is a blender? Like, there's nothing cool at all about a blender at all. But they had these huge ad campaigns because they would take like a brick or like an iPhone and just put it in their blender, put the top on, and it would just blend it to powder. And those videos did crazy because people are like, oh, I want to see that. Oh, they're gonna blend an iPhone. Like, oh my God, that's amazing. So the point there is, and that was from a book. I think it was called Contagious. But his point is, you got to find your product's inner remarkability. So something that is worth making a remark over inside of your product. Wow. And I think the blender example is like the ultimate, because like, there's nothing cool about a blender.
Exactly. And again, that goes back to circle it all back together, is creativity is the ultimate win. Because what we're talking about is your inability, like if you're like, my company's not that set, that's not your product problem, it's a creativity problem. And that's how you win the game. Boom.
We're all about winning the game too. We're all about it. People in real estate, I hear this a lot, is I just want to sell real estate. I don't want to be a actor, producer, marketer, director. Okay. How do we respond to that?
You should get a partner, or you should. You could like it, but you're not going to do it full time.
So hire the kid right out of college to manage that for you.
I mean, you just, it's like, watch this. You may not have to do those things yourself, but I do want you to understand that if someone doesn't do them for you, you will go out of business. It's that simple.
You'll get left behind.
You get left behind. So you don't, okay, cool for you. You don't want to do all that. You just want to sell houses. Cool. You know, I fucking, you know, I want a 6-pack without doing the work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? No, I had to fucking hire a trainer. I'm gonna fucking.
I mean, at the end of the day,
it fucking sucks ass. Like, shut up. Fuck you.
I think it's, it's like, it's to your point. I think it's just a critical part of the team now. It's like having a bookkeeper or having a salesperson or, you know, any of these other positions that I would consider to be like very core parts of an entrepreneur's business. Yep. I think the video person is just, it's becoming mandatory.
It's here. It's here. It's now. It's a thing. It's here. I promise you. Just look at let's look at your competitors that are getting momentum. Look at the people that are. Like the people who have positioning and authority are the people who are most followed. And how do you get followed? One word: content, or you have nothing to follow. I love Will Smith. You love Will Smith? Yeah. Why do we love Will Smith?
Because he's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Content. A fucking TV show. Right. Well, I love him because of his Men in Black content. Right. Actually, it was his song, Big Willie Style, or his album. That's why I like him, because I knew every fucking track on that. Oh, what was that? Content. Yep. Oh, I like it because his story's on Instagram right now. Oh, wait, what is that? Content. Mm-hmm. You know, Maya Angelou, like whoever it is. Oh, poetry. What was I reading? Oh, wait, content. Anyone you can think of in the world, you know, because of content's not new, by the way. It's just now that, it used to be controlled by like, television groups and like ABC, and only so many people can get in it. It seemed, a lot more rare. But now that everybody can have content, competition just went up, baby. That's it,
So do it or you're going to get left behind, I think is the moral of the story.
That's it, baby.
So take me through your approach in creating videos. So like, and I guess what I mean by that is you put out a lot of like really crazy stuff, and how does it go from like crazy idea in your head?
Well, I'll give them a simplified one first before we go into how I do it, because I've been doing it for a while. So so very simple, great exercise to tell everybody to do. Blank piece of paper, draw out a giant capitalized T, left side right problem, right side right solution. Think of your ideal customer, the person who's most likely to buy. Say what are the top 10 problems that they're facing. Write them down on the left, 10 different ways to solve them on the right. Then create short 2 to 5 minute how-to videos at the end of those. And then at the end of it, say if you found this helpful and you'd also like me to do blank, then give me a call, give me your information, and that's the whole fucking formula.
Simple.
We're done. Mm-hmm. That's it. Fuck your excuses. That was it. There's nothing to do.
So if it's that simple, and I agree, it can definitely be that simple, what would you recommend for like the upfront? Because I know you're big on like hooks and pattern interrupt right out the gate. What kind of tips do you have kind of centered around how to grab someone's attention right out the gate?
It really goes to, understanding like what your audience's number one desire is, and then asking them, that question. So for example, like let's like if we want them to watch this interview right now, right? So I think backwards. So I say, okay, well in this interview, what did we cover today? Okay, well we went over different ways to, to get customers, how to stand out in the marketplace, what their company structure is going to look like. So I'm thinking of all this data. Okay, cool, good. And then I say, all right, what do they really like? That's the deep stuff. But surface level at a glance, what do they want? They just want to fucking sell more houses to make more money. So I say, okay, well if they want to sell more houses and make more money, what's the thing that they hate? Video. Okay, got it. So then I take those things in my head, and now I say, all right, now how do I rephrase that to a question to get their attention? Okay, I look at the camera and I start playing around. If you're a real estate agent that wants to know how to get more customers with social media without spending a fortune, without being a master at video with high production and spending all this crazy money, then stay tuned, because in here I'm going to show you my top 3 ways under $20 to get more customers using simple ads like this. Check it out.
Damn.
Backwards.
Mic drop.
You know what I mean? So it's that whole process of like, okay, what do they want? What do they want to avoid? And it's a classic headline formula of like how to get blank without feeling blank, So.
And you're addressing that right out the gate.
That's it. And now you give them a reason to watch.
So you plant the seed, and then you give them the answer at the end of the video.
Yeah. Or throughout. Right? You give them more answers. Like, okay, here's one, but you're also going to need to do this. So, like, the proper way to do the interview, right? Like, it would be me seeding. And so, hey, like, right now I'll show you guys how to get their attention on the hook, like that example I just did. That's great, but honestly, what matters even more than that is your call to action at the end of the video, and I'll get to that in a second. But what were you saying? Now, oh, shit. Oh, he's going to tell me how to get to the hook. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you weave these in between the whole thing, and this is how you get people to watch longer, is you keep doing that. So now it's like, okay, so I get the call to action. Now I'm like, okay, when you get to the call to action, make sure that you actually look directly at the camera and tell them, because when you're running YouTube ads, people aren't used, like, it's called breaking down the fourth wall, where you talk here, like I'm acknowledging you right now in the interview, even though you're watching the interview. I'm not treating you like you're just like, I'm treating you like a person. But what you'll realize is once you get people to actually click your advertisement, how do you collect their data? Like, how do you actually get their name, email, and phone number? Like, what tech do you even need to do that? Like, what's the best way to do that? Anyways, I'll get there in a second. But like, and you just keep moving them down until you take them to wherever you want.
So you're reverse engineering pain points.
Yeah, and like
pre-framing answers.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a bridge, right? So like, hey, here's the steps I know you need to take to get what you want. So I give you like one step on the bridge each time, and I'll take you so far on the bridge, and then I say, well, hey, if this was a lot to remember, and any of you just want me to give you my exact, like my 10 best performing real estate ads so you guys can just copy and duplicate, well, click here and buy them for $13.
Do that now.
And the first 10 people that get it, I'm also going to personally call you on the phone and say, what's up?
And on your calls to action, you're putting them in multiple times throughout the video?
Usually at the end, and then I just keep saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that office one you guys did where you just kept coming back in, then you'd walk out and come back in again. Yeah. Awesome. When did you know that this was like a thing for you? Like, what was the ad that like you were like, oh shit, like I'm really onto something here?
When I was at my parents' house and I spent $600 on an ad on accident, and I got 25 appointments of people who wanted to talk about marketing, and I made $10,000 the next day. The money dictates. That's the fun thing about ads. Your opinion doesn't matter, neither does mine.
Yeah.
It worked or it didn't, and working means it was profitable or it wasn't.
ROI or not?
There's no gray. You know, it worked or it didn't. What was the objective? Did it do that? Okay.
And then off that next one, you just started duplicating them, or what happened?
Well, once it works, you know it works, and you just do it more,
like,
and you find different ways to do it. But it's funny because my formula hasn't changed since identifying that. My shit is still now just a video and asking you stuff. You know.
So here's a question that actually Sam had, my business partner. You know Sam.
Yeah, shout out to Sam.
Is there a point with these like really bold and loud ads where it becomes like too much, or you've gotten backlash, or it's...
Oh, yeah. Well, watch this. Is there a point? I think it's the opposite. I think I'm seeing the reverse flow. It was like, who's this guy showing up on my line stuff, da-da-da. And as there's less trust in the marketplace, it's who the fuck is he, da-da-da, backlash. You know, you get these people, is it a scam, da-da-da. Now it's like, shit, he's there for 5 years, and now you see the other so me and Mark Lack talk about this, but like kind of like the badges of what you need to be like official in somebody's eyes or to build trust. And there's a couple. Number one is like your associations, who they see people hanging out with. Number two is stages. Number three is like publications and the things that you show up on. And then four would be like frequency of how often that you see them. So frequency, I'm tuning in, everybody's kind of seeing me. But now think about the way I'm showing up. Now you saw me with, Damon John on stage at Traffic and Conversion Summit at my Let's podcast. That's my associations. Yep. Then you're like, oh shit, I Google them, and you see articles like Forbes and these things, and you see these things. So naturally you're just like, oh fuck, okay, I guess he's legit.
Is this guy?
I guess he's legit. That's what your brain does.
Yeah.
All right, I guess he's legit.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him, but he's legit. So I think it's opposite. As we've gone more, now it's like, that point of like, deny me or not, bitch, I got so much shit out there. Like it's rough. And then here's the best part. The other part, reviews. We got so many damn reviews. We got so many case studies. We have tens of thousands of students. I laugh now. It's just funny to me when someone tries to deny it. You can say what you want, but
just look me up.
Fucking facts are facts, man. We got our shit is dialed in. Talk to people who've done our shit,
So all the badges and then the social proof and just bringing it kind of full circle.
Mm-hmm.
What about like, are there any brands that you think shouldn't do? I mean, like Oompa Loompa ads and Mario Kart and Ron Burgundy
We do
and
some
all
weird
that.
shit,
Like, are there any brands that wouldn't want to do stuff like that?
That's a great question. I think everyone, your ad should be your personality. Like we do the weird shit like doing blues because that's me.
Right.
I'm weird. My team is weird. We're like,
you guys are fun, over the top.
You know what I mean? Like it's like the vibe that we choose. But like, there's plenty of companies out there that don't have that, can still have like, great ads. So for example, like, Proactive, like, you know what I mean? Like fucking Proactive is great. Their ads are nothing like ours, but they're nonetheless doing video advertisements.
Or just like even just Googling like best commercials, funniest commercials.
Yeah.
And looking at like Doritos, Pepsi, Budweiser.
Budweiser has fucking frogs talking. Affleck.
Right.
And watch this. People, insurance. Insurance is not sexy
until
Flow came on and made it fun and quirky.
Right.
Insurance isn't fun.
Caveman could do it so easy.
Fucking caveman can do it. And then it was, what happens is you saw competition be dictated there. Because now everybody needed a thing. And then Allstate came out and said, are you in good hands? And took the president of 24, TV show. Creativity forces the whole market to shift.
I just want to wrap up then with the embracing of your inner douchebag. And
that's a great close.
Because me and Sam talk about this a lot. Like he's got an i8, and he's like, man, I really want to put my car in the videos, but I just feel like such a douche. Like, how do I?
I'll give you something fun. I'll show you an example of everything I'm talking about in one right now. So people are like, I don't want to show the douchey shit because I don't want people to think I'm a douche.
Right.
Da. Now, let me give you guys a quick lesson in how like reach works on social media. Meaning, if you ever post something and you wonder, how come they're not showing this to anybody? I have 300 followers, but it only shows it to like 4. The answer is because it's boring. So they have an algorithm. This is real. I'm not like making a joke. Every single piece of content that's posted up gets basically a rating and a review. And they score it and say, this is good. And that rating is dictated by engagement. So if it shows it to 100 people and 90 out of the 100 click it, they're like, this is good content. Let's show it to more people. If they show it to 100 people and 2 people click it, they're like, this is bad. Let's not show it. Let's shelf it because this is hurting the user experience. That's the whole math. Now, the douche thing that you're talking about and that I frequently talk about is that the reason why I talk about, or show like my cars or the office or this podcast or whatever it may be is not because that's what I care about. It's because what you care about. And I'll show you an example right now. So I took a picture this morning and I didn't even plan to post it, but I took a picture. So what's the picture?
Your car in the garage under a light.
Okay. So it's my car's in the garage on the right. It's a brand new G-Wagon and it's a Ferrari. Okay. Now watch this. I've also had a Honda Accord. If this was a Honda Accord and I posted it, it gets no engagement. People are like, whatever. Like you post your car, like cool. Like no one would even comment. It would be strange. Like, all right, whatever. But when people see certain things, this is a reflection on them. If I post this right now on my IG, so many people are like, oh, he's a show off, showing his cars. Da, da, da. I don't even have to put a caption, but automatically I'm all of these things. But if the car was different, it was my Accord, it'd be like, wow, he's so humble. He's really trying. People stone you when you're the GOAT. People always root for the underdogs until the underdog becomes the fucking GOAT. Mm-hmm. When dog becomes GOAT, people fucking throw stones because envy creeps in. That's a reflection on them, not you. Having said that, if you want engagement, you got to meet the customer where they're at, not where you want them to be. So I meet the customers where they're at. Oh, you guys think the cars are a cool thing? Cool, I'll show you that. But once you get in my shit, I'm like, by the way, that's fucking ridiculous. A car got you in here. But now that I have your attention, let me help you actually get your fucking shit right. So it's meeting the customer. So right now, I'll show you. I'll post this. Watch how much engagement this fucking post gets of my cars. And you guys can go follow this. I'll keep it on there so y'all can see.
Love it.
But yeah. And even with this, it's like, it depends on which kind of story that I tell with it. Right? So and this is like constructing the narrative of like how people perceive your content. So this is more a psychology thing. But I can make people feel a type of way. I can make it, be highly seen by putting something really controversial. I can make it like a heartwarming story. I can say like 10 years ago, this was a Honda Accord. It feels pretty good. Now everybody likes it because, you know what I'm saying? It just depends
the humble approach, yeah.
The humble brag.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking shit. You're still showing your fucking cars. Right? So there's all these little things you can do. You want me to do a certain one? I'll test out whatever you want right now. But you can look at my other posts and look how much engagement this one gets. We'll see. We can have some fun with it.
So we're having a social experiment live.
Social experiment. I wish we had our live audience. Like, what do you guys want me to say?
Yeah.
Or watch this. I'll just say, douchebag game strong.
That's awesome. And just to piggyback on what he said, every hit song in history, and they went back and they analyzed this. There's a big study done, and 15% of the audience has to absolutely hate the song in order for it to be a huge hit. And the reason that 15% need to hate it is because they're the ones battling the people that like it, which is spurring the engagement, which is what is driving the machine on the social networks.
Jimmy Iovine, master at it.
Yep.
So here's what I said. I said, want more sales? Got to get attention first. ... Click the link in my bio and buy my shit. Hashtag. Douchebag game strong. Is douche with an E?
Douche, right? Now the camera's on. It's all this pressure. Okay. Got to spell it right,
Yeah, exactly. Usually I would just post it, whatever. So and there you go. I mean, and again, this is why writing is such a big part because, like, also too, like, look how I'm blatantly selling my shit in my post. Like, there's something about when you're honest about it that people receive it better. Yeah. Like, if I'm just like, want more sales, motivate yourself, blah, 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 blah. They're like, oh my God, he's trying so hard. So I'm a big fan of telling them what it is. Want more sales? Got to get attention first. Click the link in the bio and buy my shit. Hashtag douchebag game strong.
Awesome.
Love it or fucking hate it. Like, this is okay. So post.
Did you post it?
It's done.
All right.
It's done.
So now we'll see what happens. Definitely go and check that out. You can follow along in real time.
Yeah.
And To get more of Billy, you definitely want to check out his gene
The ultimate
pool.
cliffhanger. Follow me on Instagram now, right? That's the call to action.
Yeah,
You're already there.
Billy Jean is marketing, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Everywhere? On everything?
On everything.
Check out the Gene Pool. Really appreciate your time, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, if you want to buy my
Great
shit, go to
conversation.
trythegenepool.com. It would really be a smart investment and you'd make more money. Just my opinion. If you apply a fraction of it.
Yeah, if you guys like doing more business, then go buy his shit.
That's right. Yep, buy it.
The end.
Thank you for having me.
Now you're in the know.
And keep listening to these motherfuckers. Rock with them, stay with them, do everything with them. I approve this
Appreciate
message.
it, man. Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. That was great.
Good
That was
stuff,
dope.
dude.
That was fun.